Okay, so I see that you're doing a lot of thinking around this. That's the Page of Swords there. You're doing a lot of thinking about it. And I see that you also are writing it down. Like, I think you're thinking about it, but you need to write it down. You need to journal about it. You need to say, um, you need to journal about it. So don't talk about it, journal about it. Write down everything that you are needing, your trepidations about the money, what your fears are around receiving the money. Um, Write down your fears about receiving it, but also write down your fears about not receiving it. So you want this to be a really thorough brainstorm or a very thorough recitation, if you will, about money. You can go back as far as you feel like you need to go. I don't want it to be well thought out. I think it just needs to just flow. Just flow. Just let it flow out of you. You know, here, I need this, I need that, I'm worried about this, there's not that. You know, it's almost like writing down the mind junk that's going on in your head as it pertains to money. Okay? A lot of times what happens is we clog up the works. Like, money is free flowing, it's currency. Money is currency. There's a reason they call it currency, because it's like a current. It moves like water, so you have to be in the flow with it. And if you're uptight about it, if you're tense about it, if you're concerned about it, worried about it, have fears around it, either way, fears in receiving it, fears in not receiving it, whatever the case may be, it's still going to clog us, almost like taking a rock and putting it in the middle of the flow. Now, it's going to flow around you. You know, water is going to flow around you. You can put a rock there and you can be the rock. But the water is going to flow around you. But what you want it to do is to be a part of the flow, not putting not impede the flow. That's what I mean. You're trying to be a part of the flow of the money, not impeding the flow of the money. All right, so there is some information that the spirits are trying to share with you. To me, it's like they are doing it when you're sleeping, or they're doing it when you are at rest. So just think about this. There's messages that are also going to come through to you spiritually about your money. But again, if you are all worried and concerned and your mind is all clogged up, you're not going to receive that message. You're not going to sleep well, first of all. If they're trying to send it to you dream, you're not going to sleep well. If you don't sleep well, you're not going to go into a REM state. If you don't go into a REM state, you're not going to dream. If you don't dream, you're not going to remember the dream. Because you dream, or you might dream and not remember the dream, or you might not dream at all because you haven't reached the REM state because you're so busy worrying about the money. So you have to let your mind get free of that, and that's the purpose of the journaling. So while you are resting, while your mind is relaxed around the situation, or while you are resting and sleeping, that's when the messages or the downloads, as folks call it now, that's when the messages or the downloads are going to come, because you are not putting a rock in the middle of the flow. All right, so of course, this message is the Hangman. It's about letting go. It's about releasing. In this particular deck, you see the doorway back here. See that doorway? Okay, so when you let go, it implies that when you let go, then the portal opens, the doorway opens, and the flow can come in. So that's pretty straightforward there. So the journaling is very important. Rest. And when I say rest, you want to sleep, but it's not just sleeping, it's resting your mind around the subject matter at hand, which means you have to let it go. Not until you let it go is your mind going to be at rest about it. Let me see if these cards have anything else to say. Oh, they do. Okay, got got 2 more cards here. Okay, so I see a whole lot of, this is the 10 of Wands here. I see a whole lot of drama and tragedy and, oh, woe is me, and I've been struggling for so long, and this has been such a hardship. Look at these guys here. This is some damn drama in relationship to your money. Look at that. You falling out over here. Look at this. Woe is me right here. Oh, I'm falling out. Somebody's stopping me from getting, you got a lot of stories going on here. That's a part of what you have to let go of too, because as long as you continue to tell yourself a sad, no good story in relationship to your money, then there's going to be some sad, no good things happening around your money. So you gotta release that too. Okay, so the last card, this isn't like, let me see what's going on here. Okay, so this is the a 4 of Swords, but it's coming in reverse. I am really reading images right now more so than I'm reading the tarot itself, like the card, the meaning, the da da da. I really am tuning into the image, and so the image here looks like there's an angel. It looks like there's a scroll in the angel's hand, and with this being swords, to me this represents that the angels, God, angels in his assembly, they all know that this is something that you need. They're all aware of it. I also get the sense that it is written that you are going to receive what you've been looking for. You've been wanting this, and not just wanting it, wanting and needing it as well. Because, there's a combination of things that happens when we are materializing or we're manifesting what we want, okay, and what we need in the world. It's really kind of a hybrid of both, because sometimes you're asking for things that you don't really need, nor do you want. You just think you want them. And then some of the things that you need, you're not asking for because you feel like maybe I don't really deserve that, or maybe that's too much to ask. So it's about knowing yourself, and then it's also knowing what the real ask is, what you're really trying to drive at. And again, that goes back to the journaling. Because when you journal, you're going to get a chance to see your thoughts on paper. And when you see your thoughts on paper and you can actually read them to yourself, or better yet, have somebody read it to you. If you don't, if you feel like you want to be that kind of vulnerable, write everything down and then have somebody else read it back to you. And then you'll hear yourself and you're like, oh, that's like ridiculous. Why am I thinking that way? Or you may say, oh, well, you already have the solution to the problem that you've been having difficulty, ascertaining what that's all about. But that's why I feel like this journaling card came up first, and that is the Page of Swords, which is about communication. So that's the clear communication right there, and that's what's going to help you be able to communicate and articulate exactly what it is you're looking for, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I feel like this card came in reverse because right now you can't hear that, you can't get that, you're not quite at that place where you can actually receive that, because there's still things you have to let go of. There's one, this is one of them. This woe is me, I had a terrible time with money story. You got to let go of that. And you also have to let go of your thoughts about the money so that you can receive the downloads about money. Spirit is here to help you with everything. And sometimes people feel like they can't ask the Lord for money. They feel like they can ask God for everything. Lord, give me strength. Lord, give me patience. Lord, I just ask for you to help me understand and have better clarity. You can ask for all of that. But when it comes to money, you don't ask in the same way. Lord, just give me some money. Now, some people do that. Lord, I hope the Lord will give me some. I hope. But ask for what it is you need, and then it will It gives it room to materialize. So the last card that came up was the card of judgment. Okay. So the predominant image in this card to me is the tree. The tree. There's the tree right there. There's a person, there's a pillar, and there's a tree. Okay. So I feel like in the judgment card, let me say this about the judgment card. Judgment is when you, is that moment in time where you realize something about yourself or about the world or about God or about what is like an aha moment. When everything is aligned, when you understand yourself in relationship to creation, in relationship to your God source, in relationship to what's happening around you, your job, your family, all of a sudden, it all makes sense because of who you are, right? And that realization of who you are, truly who you are, can make all the difference in the world to everything that's going on around you. So this tree to me, this is you, this is the person, trying to get to the alignment. But the tree to me represents the root of who you are, the root of the separation, I'm going to say, between you and your money, right? And then whatever the pillar to me is, those structures that are in place in the physical that you have to apply or utilize or understand or get through or whatever, so that manifestation happens, so that materialization can happen, because the pillar represents the materialization in this case. This to me represents all that stuff that you're going to find out when you do your journaling, and then you will come into alignment when you see all of those things coming together for you, here, out here, and everything else. And it is possible, because money is not separate from you and your spirit, no more than your house is separate from you and your spirit. No different than the clothes you put on your back. Like, it is separate from you, but it's a part of your existence. Money is the same way. You got to use money to buy the clothes on your back. You know what I'm saying? The clothes aren't you, but they clothe you. The money isn't you. You aren't that attached to the money in that way. It just allows you to do some things that you need to do. That's all it is. It's just an object of being on planet Earth. It's an aspect of being on Earth. It's something that's there. That's why people say, well, you got to have money. That's because you're on Earth, right? And that's how they do things on Earth. That's the pillar. When I showed you the pillar, that's what the pillar is. That's the structure of money on Earth, as opposed to the reason for the money, as opposed to the want for the money. The want is not the money itself. The want is the want. The need for the money is the need. Whatever the need is for the money is a need. It's not the money itself. So you got to understand, how the thing works, okay? Or how your mind works for you or against you. So the last card, well, I don't know if it's the last card or not, because they keep coming out, but we got the star card here. I'm seeing the number 50. So for any of you who will do number science, 5s, 50, you want to pay attention to that. 5 is also the number of change, and it's a pivot. It's a pivotal point. So it's change. It represents change, and it represents pivoting. Some people say it represents chaos, and some people say, 5s mean there's some kind of conflict. But conflict always happens before change, right? So there's a moment at which everything is going along like the way it's going along, and then all of a sudden it's not going so well anymore. And so it's time for a change. It's time for something to change. It's no longer working for you. You keep butting your head against a certain wall over and over again, and you don't want to keep doing that. Or every time you approach a situation this way, you get you get your feelings hurt, or you get disappointed or something. Oh, you're trying to work really, really, really hard, but then something happens and all your work seems like it's in vain or whatever. Well, that might be the moment where there's a pivot. So anytime you have a conflict, it usually means there's a pivot, and fives represent that number. This is also the star card. Star card represents hope. And the image that I'm seeing in this card, it almost looks like a library, or it looks like a window of a high-rise building. And when you look out of the window, you can see all the people across, from you or what have you. And then there's also like this other kind of partition, almost like a secret door that you're going into too. I don't know if you can see all that, but that's what I'm looking at right there. So there's a lot of things that I'm seeing in there, and in that the library to me is almost like the cache of records, or like all of the information that exists about money from the time money was a thing, right? So it's this whole history of money and how people have utilized money, and people who have money and people who don't have money, and the haves and the have-nots, and it's like all this story historically about money. And then you yourself have a story about money that you've been walking with and traveling with that you need to know. And to me, that's what's going to make you rise higher. So I said it looks like a high rise to me. It's like that's what's going to make you rise higher in this. So you're not staying in your base chakra talking about, I don't know why I ain't got no money, right? You've got to raise the energy vibration up. And by raising that energy vibration up, by seeing, by experiencing, by noting what you have seen and experienced in relationship to this subject matter, it's going to raise you up so that you can see things from a different perspective. And then when you're up here and you're seeing things from a different perspective, that's when that magic door opens up for you, and boom, you have whatever it is that you need. That's a beautiful thought process. I like it. So let me see what these money cards have to say. Is there anything else these money cards have to say in relationship to that? And then I am going to pull a money mindset card. That's one of my favorites because this comes from money and the law of attraction. So for those of you who like cards, or who want to buy your own deck, this is a great deck to have. Not as well. No, I'm not going to be critical. I'm just going to say it's a good deck to have, because what they do is they this is by Esther and Jerry Hicks. These are the law of attraction cards. So you remember the law of attraction days. At the time when law of attraction, people were into the law of attraction, I thought it was like, whatever, I don't know what you're talking about. But the thing that I enjoy about these cards is that it does help you shift your mindset. And a lot of times when people have hiccups and issues with money, it's because of their mindset. It's how they think about the money that's really either creating the problem or preventing them from solving a problem. All right, so the card that I pulled says, I can set my own standards for financial well-being. I can set my own standards for financial well-being. And this is what it says on the back. Once you're able to achieve and consistently maintain your personal alignment, what did I just say? A great deal of money will flow into your experience if that is your desire. If that's your desire. That's what the journaling is going to do, because you're going to find out whether it's money you really want or if it's something else that you really want, because you can't throw out the idea that there's some people who want money because money is really replacing something else that they really want. So you got to take that in consideration. Do not let others set the standards about how much money you should have or about what you should do with it. For you are the only one who could ever accurately define that, and that's because of the alignment. When you are in alignment, when that whole dawning happens and you say, oh, this is who I am, And this is what I'm here to do. And this is why I need this money, because I have to do these things. It's all going together, right? You're the one who defines it. Come into alignment with who you really are and allow those things to flow into your experience that life has helped you know what it is that you want. I didn't plan this one. I did not. I didn't plan any of them. I'm just pulling cards. But here's your confirmation right here. It's about the alignment. So if you are struggling with having what you need and want right now, if you're worried that you can't get it all, you can't get what you need, if the monkey is on your back, or if the bill collectors are on your door and it's really pushing you, I understand how you feel. I've been there, trust me. But what you need to do is let it go, relax it, write down everything, write the whole mind goop, put it all on the paper, determine what it is, let that process bring you to alignment, and then you'll see what you need to let go of and everything else. That's a beautiful thing there. Okay, I'm gonna do one more and then I'm it, because I don't know if this is even if we really need this. So I'm gonna pull out the work cards. I like the work cards because, money and work kind of go hand in hand, except for the fact that, it may not be about work. It could not be about something that appears as work. You may get a windfall and somebody might get an inheritance. Maybe about that. I don't know. How your money's going to flow through. So, but I'm just going to put this up here as a possibility. Just to see how your daily life is having an impact on it. Okay. Oh, cards coming out. I'm glad I came to them. Okay, wow. Okay. Whoa, boy. They just keep coming. They just keep coming. I feel like y'all giving me the whole deck. They're giving me the whole deck. Okay. Part of this I feel like is like they're trying to say, there's an abundance. There's an abundance that can happen here for everybody. So let's get with it. All right, so the first card I pulled out was the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is about work. It's about colleagues and co-workers, the people that you're connecting to. Another card that came up, also a three, is the Three of Cups, which is about gathering and connecting and being with people. So I feel like connecting with people is very important right now. This isn't a time to isolate and put your head in your book, so to speak. It's a time to get out and connect with other people, meet other people who have skills that are different from yours, that can help you with what it is that you're working on. And then also it's just general gatherings, like just being in spaces where people are connecting, because that's where you're going to start to see the chemistry happening. This is the chemistry, okay? Between you and another person, or you and a couple of other people, or whatever the case may be. So get out, get moving, get your eyes open, and start thinking about who it is that you're going to work with. We got the Hierophant card in here, and to me that's like being open to learning. about other things, about other aspects of what you're doing. Open yourself up to maybe take a class or two, something just to kind of whet your appetite around the subject matter that you are working with. Okay. So some of you already have an idea, or you already have an idea of what it is that you want to do. The camaraderie is going to be very important, and that's why I feel like we've got these 2 3s and the 2 here. It's about developing the chemistry with the people that you're going to work with, and the only way you're going to know that is by getting out and connecting with other people, so that you can have the chemistry, because you ain't gonna have the chemistry by yourself in the house. Okay. I see here, let me just pull these out here. There's also a 3 of swords in the picture. The third 3 in the picture is the swords. This is about disappointment, but like, what about the disappointment? Where does the disappointment come from? I'm getting this 10 of swords again too, going back to that kind of like, oh, this is how it was, and I had a really hard time with this, and these are things that I've struggled with. It's like concentrating your energy on those things is taking away from the energy that you need to do these things. So you've got to really let go of that. You got to really let go of that. Yeah, I'm seeing that as it regards this whole thing about money and work and having to work and struggle, and I see a lot of struggling. I see a lot of you trying to tackle everything on your own, trying to do everything, there's a lot of irons in the fire, and you're trying to pick which iron is the best iron in the fire. When they're all in the fire, just, take one out and start pounding it, right? But there's this sense of struggle and having to fight for what it is that you want. And I think that is part of the disappointment that to me has to be released and let go of as far as this money is concerned. Because with the Emperor card here, you will create a structure like that. See, everything stems from the mind. Everything stems from it's your spirit and your mind, your mouth, your thoughts, your actions all create your experience, right? And so if you are operating in the mindset that it's a struggle, that I've got to fight for everything that I get, if you are in the mindset that you have all these irons in the fire and this is like working your butt off and you've having to, figure this out on your own. If you're of the mindset that this has just been a struggle and a battle and, it's worn you completely out and it's been nothing but a disappointment, then that's what you're going to create around your wealth, around your finances, around your money, around your work. You're going to create that dynamic, because the Emperor is about structure. The Emperor is about systems. And the first thing you got to figure out is the system of thinking. Your system in here, how is it operating? Because if the system in here is telling you this, then that's what you're going to manifest. That's what you're going to create for yourself to have to do. I don't care how much money comes. You can do all of this. You can be a millionaire. You can be a billionaire and still have this dynamic going on. And guess what? That will be the structure. But is that the structure that you want to create for your money to live in? I wouldn't. I would want that thing to be relaxed is what I would want. That's just me. That's just me. So we have the Ace of Pentacles here. Of course, this is about money. This is about where money comes from, your ideals, your ideas. When you think about money, when you look at money, when you want money, when you're contemplating anything about money, what are you holding up? Are you holding up this? Are you holding this up? Are you trying to hold yourself up? what is that ideal? What is it, what is it that you're holding in relationship to that? And then what is the ideal? Because the ace is like the essence of the suit. So if we're talking about the essence of that which is material in relationship to money, we're talking about the money itself. So when you think about money, where do you see that? How does it tie into your thoughts or your ideas or your fears or whatever else about the money? You got to think about that. Okay? Because again, you don't want to create a structure that you've got to battle with. You don't want to do that. That's the idea. All right, so Four of Pentacles here is, again, it's about structure. It's about what you give your money to, like what you pay for, what you spend money on, and the value of it. Because whatever you're giving your money to, you value it in some way. Now think about how much money you spend going out to eat. Or think about how much money you spend on your car, whatever it is. How much money do you spend in travel? How much money do you spend in bills? How much money do you spend in your mortgage? How much money, right? And then you're asking yourself, whatever you have a tendency to spend toward, it has some value to you. So for some of you, when you think about this, you're going to ask yourself, well, is that really what I value? Good, that's a good place. Because you do need to ask yourself, what is it that you truly value? Because if you're giving your money to something you don't really truly value, then probably stop. Because that's already a misalignment. You're already out of alignment. Because what you value is what you're going to invest in. Okay? I could keep going on that one. So I've got a Knight of Cups and I have a King of Cups here. A Knight of Cups and a King of Swords here. Okay. The court cards represent people. So for some of you, this may be you. And for some of you, this may be you. Let me explain the two characters or the two archetypes, I'm going to say. So the Knight of Cups is a romantic, an idealist. When it comes to money, they have a fantasy probably around it. They could be also emotionally attached in some way to their finances. Like they feel okay in the world as long as they have money. And then the thing is, what does the money buy, or what is the money used for that then creates this being sated or being emotionally okay? Because emotions are one thing. Now you feel is one thing. Finances are another thing. How do these things tie together here with the Knight of Cups? The Knight of Cups is also considered to be a younger person. So if you're not a younger person, right? If you don't perceive yourself to be the young person, then this may be something that you have to deal with in order to advance or in order to grow up around finances. Like, so instead of being emotionally tied to the money or being idealistic about the money or having some kind of fantasy about it, maybe you need to, get more practical or be more logical. That's more logical, the King of Swords. King of Swords represents someone who has gained mastery over their mind. It's over their logical, their sound judge. They're a sound judge or sound judge of character or sound judge of a situation. They are pretty good decision makers because they have weighed all of the options. They have looked at everything that's on the table, and then they've made the best decision, which is hopefully a balanced decision. So that's what the King of Swords is. So I feel like for many of us, it's time to graduate from this idealistic view of life and maybe a romanticized view of how you're moving in the world in relationship to your finances and your wealth and how you're managing your money, and start to be more logical about it and start to gain mastery over that emotional space so that you can make solid, good decisions. Which brings me back to the Emperor again and the High Priestess. Like I said to you before, the Emperor card is about structure. It's about what systems you have in place. It's about the things that you do that create the stasis, the balance, the security, the safety for yourself, right? And then the High Priestess is about following your intuition. It's about your hunches, okay? So when you're dealing with money, it's probably a combination of the two. It's things that are already in place that just are, just like you know that you got to pay your taxes, okay? That's the Emperor. That's something that has to be done. And you know the date when you got to pay yours and you're ready to do it, or you're not ready to do it and you're dreading it, but guess what? It's got to be done. For those of you, for some of you, this is the bills you have to pay. This is your light bill. This is your water bill. This is your telephone bill. This is your mortgage, your rent. I got to pay my car note. This is that thing that has to get done. And it's also the thing that you have to do in order for the things that have to get done to get done. That is not idealistic feeling stuff. That's practical, pragmatic. This is what we got to do, and that's what we have to have going on. So that's part of it. Recreating a structure for yourself. Discipline also belongs to the Emperor as well. So you got to think about that part. But then the other part is just following your spirit, your intuition, hunches, things that you feel like you just need to do, because there are going to be times that you're going to be following your very rigid structure, and you should. But then there's a moment when you're like, you know what? I feel like I need to do this. I know I'm supposed to do this, but it's something about this. I think I need to do this thing right here. I probably need to put some money to the side. For whatever reason, I'm feeling like I need to save right now. So save. Or you may say to yourself, you know what? I need to take this trip now. Because I just feel like if I'm going to do it, I need to do it now. Those are those kind of hunches and feelings that you're going to go with. It is a balance. It's not about all or nothing. Like, you're not supposed to, again, when we talk about money, it's a fluidity to it. So you're not supposed to be cramped up and tight about it and uptight about it. You have to be fluid. You're going to give and you're going to receive. You're going to pay some bills and you're going to get some things in return. You're going to get a windfall, you know. You're going to receive your check every month and you're going to pay it out. Yeah. It's the ebb and flow. So if you have other questions about money and money mindset, and you need to change your thinking around it, or if you're in a money rut of some sort, then we can work that through. If you want to, we can, just reach out to me. I am at Carrie@wooingnature.life, WOOING, nature, all one word together, .life. Hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a wonderful life.